Most people would think starting a podcast is straightforward. You set it up, press record, upload, and you're off. But that wasn't our story. In true Caribbean fashion, the minute we said, let's build a podcast, chaos walked in the door, sat down, and said, I'm ready. Setting that aside, we've decided to walk you through how this whole project actually began, where we are, and what comes next. Welcome back to Caribbean Chronicles by Joss, the podcast where we explore the moves and messages shaping Caribbean business, culture, innovation, and media. I'm your host, Joss, and as always, I've got my crew with me. Our resident analyst, Dr. Kamar, and the one-woman cultural hurricane, Lady May.
Hurricane? No, ma'am. Cultural compasses feels a little more accurate.
Look at God. May starting the morning calm. I'll take the win.
May, I'm just kidding with you, my dearest. But you're right. That balance is exactly why we're here today. We're breaking down how this podcast actually came together, why we decided to start it, and the moments that nearly derailed the whole thing. So imagine this. We're running a newsletter, creating content, telling Caribbean stories, and then one day I asked, what would a Caribbean-style podcast actually sound like? Not the polished, hour-long interview format we see everywhere. Something shorter. Something with a little wit and character. Something that feels like a quick break time reasoning.
Short, steady, and memorable. I can support that.
Right? And the idea was simple. If we could build this podcast with almost no budget, then anyone else could too.
Which is how we ended up deep in YouTube University. Free tuition, registered stress, and daily attendance. By the way, YouTube, if you ever need guest lecturers, we're available.
Boss Lady had us looking at everything. Formats, hosting platforms, character voices, editing workflows, and she kept asking the important questions like who represents us? How do we keep this culturally grounded? And how do we make it engaging without losing the substance?
Because Caribbean people don't do boring.
Love that.
Like the song says, I come for this work, Boss Lady.
Love the song, not the right meaning, Dr. K. But love the song, though.
Ha!
I tried.
All good, DK. So the team came back to me with what they learned, and boy was it eye-opening. Dr. K, kick us off.
Let's start with lesson 0. Podcasting is not social media. Nothing happens instantly. You don't hit post and see it live. You upload, and then you wait.
I wouldn't say that. It was more like post, refresh, panic, refresh again.
And lesson 0, Dr. K, really?
Yes, ZERO.
Focus, guys. If doing the most was a thing, between processing, distribution, approvals, it felt like a whole journey.
And the AI voices didn't help. The Caribbean accent options were rough. I heard one and said, who is this? Because it's not anybody from back home.
Representation in tech clearly has a long way to go. The voices didn't match our rhythm, tone, dialect, nada.
Imagine trying to talk about Caribbean culture in a voice that sounds like a confused GPS. They don't understand that our words carry vibes and half the meaning is in the expression.
And that's when it hit me. This wasn't just a technical experiment. It was cultural. Caribbean people and our diaspora would absolutely invest in a platform that helps us express ourselves properly. Dr. K, what do the numbers say about how our region and diaspora use and spend on these platforms in the age of AI?
The data is clear. Caribbean people and our diaspora are among the most digitally active communities anywhere. We over-index on mobile use, we spend heavily on digital services, and our engagement rates match much larger regions. What's interesting now is how we are spending. Diaspora communities use digital platforms for everything: remittances, streaming, education, small business tools, cultural content. And when a platform actually reflects us, engagement jumps. Every study shows the same thing. When the product feels culturally relevant, we show up, we spend, and we stay loyal.
Breathe, sir.
May.
Anyways, I was saying, a Caribbean-centered platform isn't just a cultural need, it's an economic opportunity. The demand is already there. The representation is what's missing.
Okay, people think we're quiet, but online, we're active. Streaming, sending money, buying things, supporting creators, we're present. And if a platform sounded like us and respected our culture, loyalty would be automatic. We'd subscribe, like, and share it to the whole group chat.
And that's why this experiment matters. We're not just testing mics and AI voices, we're testing what it looks like when Caribbean people build something for ourselves, in our own voice. So let's walk through how that played out week by week, because it was far from smooth. May, you're up.
I still can't believe Dr. K started at lesson 0, so I'll move us to lesson 1. Podcasting has way more moving parts than we expected. Editing, hosting, artwork sizes, distribution. I'm telling you, every step is a decision.
Don't forget, some platforms sync quickly, some take hours, some take days. Timing matters.
Lesson 2, the real challenge was in our heads. We kept second-guessing everything. The voices, the edits, the flow. Meanwhile, we've been creating solid content for months. Sometimes the issue isn't skill, it's confidence.
Then there's lesson 3, tool overload. Every platform had 5 cousins and 3 siblings. It felt like we needed an IT department just to hit publish. It almost took us out.
Analysis paralysis is real. Think about it. We tried free tools, paid tools, watched tutorials, signed up for everything. And suddenly, it's midnight, and you still don't have an episode.
And balancing quality with speed didn't help. Do we perfect one episode for a month or release something every week? I made the executive decision to choose momentum over perfection.
I would like to go back to the point on the AI landscape and add it as lesson 4. AI voices weren't built with us in mind. Not our accents, not our dialects, not our rhythm. And that gap isn't just inconvenient, it's a missed economic opportunity. Whoever creates authentic Caribbean AI voices is tapping into a global market that's ready for it.
Whoever builds real Caribbean voices, Jamaican, Trini, Lucian, Guyanese, Haitian Creole, they'll make serious money. And yes, we want credit for planting the seed.
Because listen, my friend was updating her social media page and wanted a little voiceover to introduce her brand. She picked one of these so-called Caribbean AI voices. Guys, the voice that came out did not belong to anybody from home. It sounded like a foreigner pretending to be a local. She couldn't post that. And that's when I knew the market's wide open.
May, my dearest, that's exactly the point. When the technology doesn't reflect the culture, people feel it immediately. Your friend's reaction shows why representation isn't optional. If the voice doesn't sound like home, the message won't land.
Hence, this whole experiment opened our eyes. We weren't just dealing with tools. We were running into the same gaps Caribbean creators face every day. So let's break down what all of this taught us, because the lessons came fast and time waits for no one. What's the big takeaways from this experiment so far, guys?
For me, the big one is this. The Caribbean has always been an example of high-impact innovation with limited resources. When you look at how our region functions, remittances, small business networks, digital adoption, we consistently outperform expectations for our size and infrastructure. We work with what we have, and somehow it always carries depth and character.
My takeaway is simple. You don't need money to start. You need momentum. As a people, we love to wait until everything is perfect, every tool is lined up, every detail is polished. If we followed that mindset, we'd still be talking about this as an idea. And trust me, I've seen it. I have a friend who's been planning her podcast for 2 years. She has notebooks, mood boards, equipment still in the box. But every week she finds a new reason she's not ready. Meanwhile, we started with vibes and free trials, and look at us now. Episodes out, systems forming, lessons coming in.
Breathe, May, breathe.
Hush it, Dr. K. Sometimes the difference between people who create and people who dream is that one group's willing to start imperfect and improve along the way. Momentum will take you places perfection never will.
And that's the heart of it. Ladies and gents, we weren't just building a podcast, we were building a process. We're carving out a space in the digital world where Caribbean stories aren't an afterthought. They're part of the main conversation. Dr. K mentioned limited resources earlier, but at some point, we have to shift from working with what's available to creating what we need. AI isn't optional anymore. It's already shaping everything. We can't afford to be left behind or underrepresented. The data shows the same pattern every time. When we build our own platforms, our engagement, our output, and our cultural influence multiply. This podcast isn't perfect, and growth will take time, of that I'm sure. But the foundation is here, the soul and the strategy. And maybe one day you'll see our faces. But for now, me, myself, and I, along with Dr. Kimar and May, will keep opening the conversation about where we are, how we're seen, who's shaping the culture, and how we move it forward.
She's standing on business, y'all.
My goodness.
Lyrics to the beats, boss lady.
Thanks for tuning in to Caribbean Chronicles by Joss. We switched things up this week to walk you through what we're building behind the scenes. It felt like the right moment to share the process. Next week, we'll get back to our original schedule with the episode on how Caribbean startups secure funding. It's an important conversation for any business owner across the region, and a topic a lot of founders have been asking about, so stay with us for that one. Until next time, keep pushing the culture forward. I'm Joss, here with Dr. K and May, and we'll meet you right back here next Wednesday.
Caribbean Chronicles is produced by Joss Productions, telling the stories that shape the region's future. All rights reserved.